Yo, how we doing, guys? We good? Thanks for coming in at short notice. Hang on, am I loud enough? That should be a bit better. There we go. Ah, yeah. How you doing? How we doing? It's been a minute. It's been like a month, I think. Hang on, I should be able to check. My channel. Yeah. So today we're just. I needed to record a bunch of footage for my upcoming video. So I figured I'd just do it live because it's literally just recording footage and or figuring out what footage I need. Yeah, just over a month and 3 days. Last stream was Angel Engine. I actually kind of enjoyed Angel Engine. I'm not gonna lie. I've been thinking about it a little bit. It was obviously kind of slop at times, but I don't know. There's just something about it that sort of sticks out, and I don't know what. I need to think about that a little more. Maybe I should do a video about that. How much chocolate have I had today? Not much, actually. Not much. Have I had any, actually? I don't think so. Who's here? Who's here? Let's say hello. Hello, Silverheart Grin. Hello, Shingetsu Nazuka. Hello, J-Ran Dre. Hello, Omega Man. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, Famous Heptatilizer. Hello, Voxan. Hello, Grimes Magoose. Hello, Aman. Hello, Omega Man. Wait, no, I already said hello to you. Oh, you have to leave now. Sorry, Omega Man, because I said hello to you twice. Sorry. Hello, Groval. How are we doing? Hello to Sonic Boom Plays. The Badger method. Is that a thing? What's that? What's the Badger method? Because I remember, you know, I know it wouldn't be a new concept, but I never really thought about it until I saw Nick Nocturne of Nightmind do it. He did a stream where he was editing a video, and I won't be editing the video today, I don't think, because I need to. So my method is, so I write down my notes. I come up with an idea. I collect all the information from the game that I know, or that I'm pretty sure that is relevant to whatever the idea is. And then I structure a script around it, and I do research and I check out what's actually going to be relevant and whatnot. And then I structure the script. I don't write it yet, but I structure it out. And then what I do is I go and then get the footage that I need. And by this stage, I probably have all the footage that I need for Fear and Hunger. But there's so many like super specific things. It's like, oh, okay, we need to get this character and like this character at this specific point in the game. And they need to do a party talk in this exact location. And then you need to check out this item. And it's like, so it gets a bit specific, right? So I often do need to actually get like a little bit more footage. And the bulk of the footage I need for this next video is the same thing. I've got most of it, but there's a few specific things that I somehow don't have already. So, hey Bonesy, how we doing? Russian Badger streams whenever he needs to make new vids, then cuts his stream off when he's got all the footage he wants. Okay. The same league as Maxor, Seth, and such. I assumed all those guys streamed, but I've never actually seen them go. Hey, Hominus, how you doing? Been a while since I've been able to catch a stream. Yeah, well, I haven't streamed for like a month, so hang on, I'm getting a bit warm. It was a bit cool, but now all this stream room is all closed up. I'm just gonna mute for a sec. Okay, we're back. So, situation engineering for accusation of pics or it didn't happen. Situation engineering for accusation of pics or it didn't. I don't follow. I'm not sure what you mean, sorry. Yeah, so situation engineering for accusation. Yeah, basically, I think I know what you mean. Yes, I think yes, that's what we're doing. But yeah. So, man, you don't miss much from the ones I've tuned into. Most of the substance comes from additional context and seeing the final form of the business make. That's the impression that I get. Like when you've got, because those guys do heavily edited videos, and like I do too, of course. But and they're really funny bits, and it must take them a little while to come up with the jokes sometimes. Like Seth is a really funny guy, and all like heavily edited and whatnot. So yeah, I can imagine that the actual streams themselves are definitely for like super fans. Weird, you're doing the same thing I did a few hours after. Did you do a work stream too? I didn't even see that. No, I've been working all day. Then I'm like, oh, I've got to. And then I just sort of clicked. I was like, oh, I got a shitload of footage. I need to, like my next thing on my task list is record footage. And I've been thinking about streaming because I wanted to come back as soon as possible. That's funny. What was I doing? But yeah, so we're just gonna hang out. It's gonna be pretty chill. So I do have a big list of footage. Read through a few 15th century manuscripts. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Situation engineering is to make sure what you're talking about is on screen when you do it. Ah, okay. Like you wouldn't want to talk about Pocket Cat's second encounter when you're still in the caves. Yes, exactly. Oh, I suppose I should talk a little bit about my break, shouldn't I? Well, I had to go on a break because I mentioned it on... well, I won't talk too much about it. I've already talked about it on Twitter and YouTube community and whatnot, but my dad passed away kind of suddenly. About a month ago, I guess it was, thereabouts. He had terminal cancer, and so we kind of saw it coming, but then he just got... And I think this happens in a lot of terminal cases like that with long-running illnesses, when you know it's going to get him somehow. But he didn't die from the cancer. He got sick. And he got sick twice back to back. Like he went to hospital and he was really sick, but then he was getting better, then he got sick again, and then he just sort of really went downhill fast. And so in that sense, it was sudden, but it wasn't unexpected, if that makes sense. It was kind of weird. And so I've had to deal with that. I'm the executor of his will. So that means I've got a lot of... it's been a lot of work. So I've been pretty busy with that. And obviously I wasn't in an emotional state to stream for the couple of weeks afterwards. And then after that, I've just been like really flat out, trying to balance doing all that and working on videos and whatnot too. So it's been hectic. I don't know how much about this I can actually say, but I mentioned in those posts that he was having he was in a legal fight, a messy legal fight with someone close to him. And unfortunately, that still impacts everything now, so it's going to be a big fucking headache for a while too. It's just really annoying. I think that's about all I'll say about that. But yes, so look, I loved my dad, but nothing was ever easy with him. He was one of those people. I do miss him dearly though. I do miss him a lot. But anyway. Thanks guys. I appreciate it. I've been you guys have given me a lot of love over the past month, so I've been really thankful for that. And the latest video is going really well too. Like you guys have really liked that one, so I'm pretty happy about that. Can I pull up the stats on here actually? People maybe people get iffy about showing money, so I don't know if I can. Let's see. Let's look at the analytics. Hey Ichihara, how are you doing? Yeah, no, the latest video is going really well. You guys really liked it. How many views is it at? It's at 175, 176. Pretty happy about that. Watch time is 27k, which is really good. That's the number that really matters, is 27k. Dropped my knees in the middle of Walmart when I saw the notification. The stream notification. Or the video notification. That's funny. Yeah, so that's going really well. Watch time is the real number that really matters. That YouTube wants you on the platform for as long as possible. I think technically a more important number is session time. This is what I've heard. So session time is how long somebody spends watching your video. So maybe they'll watch one video and then go to the next one and then watch the next one, etc. Right? But we can't, on my end, I can't see that. Only YouTube knows that one. It would be, and the reason we can't see that is that there's really no way of specifically targeting that as a creator. It's sort of really difficult to make videos that specifically target that. All you can do is just make a good video to encourage people to watch more, and we have the numbers to do that already. So I'm going to figure out how Miro does battle scripting, but baby steps in game dev probably the largest contributor to getting there. Oh, 100%, yeah, 100%. Even Miro, he had a lot of issues working on the battle system to begin with. Like, there was heaps of bugs in there. Heaps of bugs in there for ages. That was the revenge attacks. You know how the guards still finish their turn when you kill them? That was originally a bug, and Miro took it out, but people liked it so much that he put it back in, and now people liked it so much that it's coming back to Termina. In certain select enemies, they do revenge attacks. So yeah, look, don't be afraid to... Look, everybody works a little differently. Miro says to jump into a massive hard project to start off with, and it worked with him. But for most people, you need that determination to really stick around and see it through. And a lot of people don't have that. So usually the best way to go about it is to make smaller projects first and just see how you go, you know. And, you know, it is a big gamble, like mentally, not like not if you're considering economics. If you're getting into game dev to make money, don't do that. But even like just mentally, like pouring all your energy into one massive project and then like nobody plays it, because chances are nobody will play it. That's unfortunately the case. You know, that takes its toll. But if you make small ones and it's like, well, I've only put a month worth of effort into it, and it flops, well, it's not the end of the world, right? If you put 2 years into a project and it flops, it's like, well, shit, that hurts. You know. But that's the same on everything, right? Your first YouTube videos are going to suck. Your first music's probably going to suck and not have anyone pay attention to it, etc., etc. Just going to keep trying. People being dense in my game dev circles and how RPG Maker works when it comes to files for custom art. Yeah. Revenge attacks are super cool. They are super cool. They are really cool. It's a really cool system. Yeah. I think and Miro's got this right. It's on certain enemies, so not every enemy can do it, and that makes a lot of sense. I think certain enemies being so angry they refuse to die until they get one last attack is perfect. I'm gonna try and build up to that determination. It feels like if I don't push massively, I'm gonna get washed out by my peers. Yes. Keep that feeling. It's not true, but keep that feeling. Everybody is your enemy. You must beat them. No, you just need whatever motivates you to keep working. Just hold on to that feeling. Doesn't matter if it's true or not. You know that meme where it's like when the guy puts down the cake, it's like the holy shit 2 cakes meme. Hang on, let me see if I can show this off. What song is this? It's a Risk of Rain song. What the hell? Kind of bangs. Yeah, this one. This one is accurate. So the artist goes, "Oh man, that guy's cake is way better than mine," and the audience says, "Holy shit, 2 cakes." That's generally true. The only thing is, you need to make sure that... Oh, hang on, I've shuffled this around, haven't I? You need to make sure that you're actually giving them something they want. If you're not... Why is this fucked up? What's going on here? Hang on, I've ruined this. What have I done? Oh, there we go. That's better. There we go. Better. You need to make sure you're giving them what they want. Otherwise, they won't give a shit. Nobody will give a shit. You have to give the people what they want. And see, that's the thing. It's hard to know what people want. Right. Hang on. Let me get... There we go. That's right. It's hard to know what people want. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. And that's another thing as well. Why making lots of smaller games is better, because you don't know. You probably don't know what they want, and by making smaller games, you figure out, or smaller videos, or smaller whatever, you figure out what people want. It helps develop your sense of taste. Because most people, that's something you need to develop. It's very, very uncommon that people will just emerge as an artist with perfect taste to begin with, right? Very uncommon. Even Miro is sort of unhappy with his old work because it doesn't like the sense of taste that he had then. You know, so. Whiskey rank bangs, atmosphere, even outside the music goes hard. I didn't like the first game very much. I prefer the second one, but it had big issues that even the devs sort of acknowledged. And they went back to making the first game, so... Unless I make a game that I know I'm part of an audience of... No, see, that's the thing, right? See, that's the thing. Do you remember... do you remember when Blizzard developer said, you think you do, but you don't? When talking about what fans want? 9 times out of 10, that is 100% true. You think you know what you want, but you don't. Of course, in that specific case, he was horribly wrong, and he was pretty dumb for saying that because he was obviously wrong. But 9 times out of 10, that is actually that's actually correct. They think they know what they want, but they don't. It's like when people tell streamers, just do what you want, and people will just like it if you're enjoying it. That's not true. It's simply not true most of the time. You know, you have to be very careful with that sort of mindset. You have a like if you're part of an audience of the game that you're making, like a horror games, right? And you want to make your own, because you love them already, you probably have a better idea of what makes a good one. Maybe you even have the right idea, but you can't guarantee it. You can't guarantee that you know for certain what you like is what the general audience likes. And the thing with being an artist is you're coming at it from a different mindset than the general audience, because the general audience aren't creators, they're consumers. And that means by default, they want different things than what you want. So you have to be very careful with it. Drawing is different because it takes like 10 seconds to look at a drawing. Ask someone to play your 5-hour game. It is a bit different, yeah. It is very hard. It is very hard to get people to actually play your stuff. Although if you make a horror game then and you put it on itch.io, then 10 YouTubers will appear by magic and play it and then put it on their YouTube channel so you can get their opinions. Tron fans want anything, and I know I'd be among people who'd want Tron-like Snake games. Interesting. Where's Mr. Beast? Good question. I'd say, though, that with his art styles doesn't like it, then they don't bother to play it or want to commission it. No guarantee in general. That's part of the free market of ideas. Oh, yeah, 100%. Right, and it does depend on what you want to do, right? If you just want to make a game, then who gives a shit what other people want, right? Who cares? But if you want a big audience, then you have to understand what that audience wants. And that's a long process, you know? It takes a while to figure that out. Audience wants best bang for their buck, whether that's hype moments or a deep writing, bake, aesthetic, terror, even specific media. Exactly. They have specific ideas that they want. Anyway, right. What we're doing. Am I the only one that hears him cutting out a bunch? Maybe. Is anybody else hearing me cut out a bunch? It might be my filters. If other people do, let me know. I don't miss that. That's alright. I like chatting. Right. The things I need to record, and I'm going to check them on the wiki first to make sure that I actually need to record them. Sounds fine. No? Interesting. Sorry, Aman, might just be you. Past midnight. This is late for most people when I do it at this time, isn't it? This is the regular time my streams will be on from now on. I used to stream on what was my Sunday, but I found that that didn't quite work out with what my because my family would want to go and do stuff, and so it's a bit awkward. So now I'm streaming on what is my Friday and what is my Saturday as well. Hey Zealot Drake, how you doing? Hey Mechanic Cat. Yeah, so today we're just going to be looking up different things I need for this next Fear and Hunger video. And what I'm going to do is I've got a big list of footage that I need, and I've checked the ones that I've checked out what I've got. And I have not much of it actually, which is kind of annoying. So I'm just going to check it out on the wiki first, because thankfully the wiki has almost all of the dialogue in the games, which is really useful. So you can see if the dialogue is actually going to be useful for whatever you're doing, which is pretty cool. Good. What's Fear and Hunger? What's Fear and Hunger? Like one of the best RPG Maker horror games ever. It's so good. Hang on, Zealot Drake. You didn't even know my channel, did you? Wow, I'm a little shocked. Go look at... Calling you out, Zealot Drake. Asking me to watch your analog horror without knowing my channel. Shaking my head. Go look at my main channel. Yeah. Yeah, in case you don't know, guys, this is my second channel. I'm sure most of you do know that. But yeah, my main channel is just Mythonics. And I do heaps of stuff about... Most of my content is Fear and Hunger. Not all, but most. Mobile game akin to Hello Kitty Cafe. So true. Yeah, Mother Duke stream. I've been a while for me since we're starting my master's. Been busting ass over here. Wow, Bindle, that's insane. Yeah, master's, that goes pretty hard. Well, hopefully you go well with that. And hopefully I don't distract you too much. So you're not a human video and thumbed it up. Oh, I'm glad you liked it. That's one of my favorite videos I've made too, actually. And not just because it's going well. Do you play any other horror RPG games? Yes, I have played a bunch of RPG Maker, like the Japanese ones, which have been really fun. Well, I was going to say Pocket Mirror and Little Goody Two Shoes. They're not Japanese, and one of them isn't even in RPG Maker. But I played. There was Witch's House. There was I've forgotten every single one of them now. They're on my... I think most of them are on my main channel, because I used to stream on there. Let's see. I mostly play... Like Itch.io horror is mostly what I play. But I do want to start doing some more RPG Maker horror, because I do quite like it. I like the vibes of it a little better, you know. Oh yes, I have been poking at. I played Lisa, of course, which I think that technically counts. Um, and I think I played the demo of Coffin and Andy and Lele way back when that was, 2 years ago or something like that. Does that count? Darkest Dungeon, technically a horror RPG. um, and what else was there? Something else. Yes, Look Outside. I've been poking at Look Outside. I really need to sit down and really get into that. Because I do want to do a video about that at some point. Live more than reaction. What is fear and hunger? Good question. This is gonna be happening more often on the channel. Maybe I'll check in on. Yeah. So I'm gonna be doing weekly streams here on this channel, two a week thereabouts. So, can't wait for the fear and hunger update with fishing. It's gonna be so good. College schedule is so free, so I stacked 4 or 5 classes in one day. Nice. That's always good. Ever play IB? I did. I didn't stream it. I played that before I was a streamer. That game was actually the reason why I realized I wanted to be a streamer. I was in a group call with some workmates. We'd have work meetings. That wasn't a game I was working on. We'd have work meetings and then just hang out after all the work was done for the day. And I played IB. And I just really enjoyed just playing that with everybody and talking about it and stuff. So I thought, oh, maybe I could stream. And one of them made a VTuber avatar for herself. This was before HoloLive English, the first generation, actually, like 6 months before. And I paid her to make one for me, and then I didn't actually use it. I just sat and I was pretty slack and I didn't stream until after HoloLive English, because I was watching them and really enjoying them. Then I remembered I had my own model, so I'm like, oh fuck it, I'll start streaming myself. So do something new with your model. Hey, Cokesmith. Hey, thanks for the sub. Yeah. So this is I set it up as like a PNG that I can flip through and watch stuff. And it's my live reaction cam. I quite like it because I don't like setting up my 3D model. It's kind of awkward. Like RPG Maker generally, what elements go into RPG Maker Horror? That's... Yes, I did play Cat in the Box. I played one of their games. I don't remember if it was Cat in the Box or one of their spin-off games from it, but I did play one of theirs. Lisa is a game of someone I want to see a full playthrough of, not dedicated to it. It's fun. Is that silverware I heard? No, I have like a little... Some of my toothpaste comes with like a little metal thing. And I just use that as like a fidget thing. What elements go into RPG Maker Horror is a very, very big question that I'm still thinking about. And it'll take a while. Manny Badhouse Hero played Lisa. He's played everything. he's played everything. That's hybrid of your OGP and GE3D model. Yeah, I quite like it. I quite like how it turned out. I still need to work on it some more. I have ideas for it, but it's the same old issue. Whenever I sit down to work, I always think that, well, I would rather be working on a video rather than working on my stream stuff, and then I just work on a video. I should just spend another day or two working on my stream stuff to make it a bit more interesting. So, Faith. I didn't like Faith when I played it. I found it kind of annoying. Maybe I'll go back and have another look at it. So, once I look outside, I saw major updates still being added, so I'm holding off. It's a fucking massive game already. It's huge. Look Outside. Saw Omniworld playing Look Outside. He was so nonchalant about it. I played it off stream. I was really into it though. You have any other parts that go into game like art or writing? You can make a game. Yeah, it's not that hard to make a game, to be honest. People think it is, but it's just a bit of time. Especially with like RPG Maker and Game Maker and whatnot. So it was really good. Kind of my favorite of the classic horror RPG Maker games. It was pretty good. I think it was probably just a little too long for what it was. I did enjoy it. I prefer Witch's House. I like Witch's House a little more, I think. Not that I dislike Ib, I quite liked it. I think it would probably be like an 8 out of 10 for me, and I think Witch's House would be a 9. Can we fish out that dead body on the dead? Yes, we can, actually. That was in one of the videos. I should have put that in my update video, but I forgot. Yeah. Thought Ib was on the short side. Not for not for an RPG Maker horror game, which are basically walking sims. I think a walking sim has to be short. It's got to be short and sweet, else it just gets kind of boring. Many Badass Hero is like if those Nintendo All Bosses channels had soul. I recommend looking at the Toby Fox Switch statement from Undertale or the Scarab's encounter as a spyful inspiration. What's that black and white Junji Ito looking RPG? That is World of Horror. That got really boring really quickly. Like, perfect aesthetics. You can't fault the visuals on it, but it just got boring really quickly. Like, the gameplay was very repetitive, I thought. So, Mythonics is actually really dark and twisted. So true. How you doing, Marty? I want to see interdimensional vending machine game. What is that? One time when Mandy Badass Hero was still a small channel, I talked to him in his comment section and kind of made it obvious I was a dumbass kid because I didn't know dysentery was a real illness. Yeah, that happens. One day I want to make an RPG Maker horror game, and I have some plans for it, but I just don't have time. You know, I have plans. Right. Ugh. Right. I'm gonna chill out a little bit. Go away. Let's see. Plans. Yes, I have. I have schemes. Years worth of schemes. Okay. So, what are we looking at? Okay. So, I need to check. Let's see. Das dialogue. What have you got for me? Have you got the party talk here? Oh, this isn't laid out like the other ones are laid out. Is there party talks here? Here we go. Here we go. This is what I wanted. So I just want to double check. So the next video is going to be about Olmir, Venushka, the New Gods, and the war in heaven, basically. And this is a topic I haven't seen anybody else cover yet. Maybe they have. I haven't watched every single video. I try to, but you know, there's a lot out there now. Some game about a girl eating certain foods out of this vending machine that turns it into grotesque stuff. I don't know. I know Benny Badass Hero played it. Have yet to watch it. Oh, that does ring a bell. Huh. Mythonics, you have the best aesthetics for a horror-related YouTube channel. Just want to say thank you very much, Marty. I really appreciate that. I do work on my stacks a lot. Unless you've been live more recently, it's been a while more. Hey, Will Skeleton. No, yeah, it's been just over a month since I streamed last because of a lot of real life stuff happening. So, yeah, no, I'm glad to be back, and I thought I'd just do like a chill stream while I do some work. Yeah, next one's a lore video about Olmir. Do I have like a quick summary of it? So there was a civil war between the New Gods that I haven't seen many people discuss that. So it talks about the New Gods before Olmir, talks about Bethel or Bettel, talks about the Lizardmen, Nashra, Venushka, and how Olmir really became an ascended god, basically. I have discussed it a little bit before on stream, but in general, I can kind of spoil it now if you guys want. I might end up having to spoil it just by doing this video, but doing this stream. No, I won't spoil it. I won't spoil it. But yeah, I need to just go through and check a bunch of stuff. Yeah, okay. So let's see. Does Das mention anything about this? So I'm just gonna. I have a bunch of footage that I'm pretty sure I need, but I'm just gonna check the dialogue on the wiki first, just to see if I even bother. Because it's like, oh, you're like, I remember. There's a certain conversation between like Enki, like you remember the conversation between Enki and Das when they're looking at the statue of Grogoroth, and it's like, oh, I do have that recorded, but theoretically, if I didn't have that recorded, I'd be like, well, do I need that? Because that's a lot of setup. You need to get both those characters to that point in the game, right? And so instead of actually going and doing that and realizing I don't need it, I can just look it up on here first. So that's the wiki's very good for that. This is the wiki.gg, which is way better than what's the other one? Fandom, I think. Ba, 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 ba. I don't. Yeah, so this is. Man, nobody has been able to. People just say, oh, yeah, it's just a story about Grogoroth, wearing human skin. And it's like, are you kidding me? I legitimately think that Grogoroth was originally intended to be the god that Ulmir used to ascend. That's what I think. But I think that has changed in the time since. Because if you just look at the evidence from the first game, it kind of really hints towards that. So, hey, Ilkin, how you doing? Hear that bell tolling? Yeah. That was the last song. Oh no, it's not going to play it. It's something from Lisa. This is a little quiet. Let's turn that up a little then. There you go. Fandom one is so bad I had a fake new god that was fandom and lies backwards. Yeah, that's so funny. That actually got a Fear and Hunger lore YouTuber. It got me for a minute, though, to be honest. So I won't pay them out for that. It's curious. Seems like nature is slowly taking over this place. That's interesting. But I don't think it means anything. Because we know the nature god is Venushka, but Venushka's dead by this point. Okay. No. See, it's interesting that the sun is always described as cold, and I don't know what that means. The only time the sun is mentioned is it's described as cold, which is bizarre. It's so bizarre. In the games. Yeah, I use Google Docs for all my organization and writing and that. I use it for everything. The sun blew up. Hey, waiter. I don't know, because we know there was a sun god, and we know it's probably not there anymore. So is that why the sun is cold? It's strange. How do you get it to highlight a username? You have to type in the username specifically in Google in the YouTube chat. You just copy and paste it. Is update for Terminator out yet? No, not out yet. We find his corpse. That's not the. That's Ulmir though. So Ulmir is dead. That's not this. He has probably used the sun god to ascend, but we don't know who the sun god was. It's a god of light. I think. Love your video. Thank you, Wade. I really appreciate it. I think that my first thought was that Grogoroth was the sun god. Because his symbol is an eclipse and all that other stuff in those videos, right? And I'm still not unconvinced by that, but I have different ideas now. I have an alternate theory then. That's what this video is about, actually. It's an alternate theory about the sun god. So, yeah, the magic touch. I do. Also, Google Docs is okay. Don't use it for much. I associate it with academic stuff too much. So, people also use that I've heard that Obsidian, that note-taking app, is really good. I haven't used it yet, but I've had it strongly recommended to me by several people, and the only reason I haven't used it yet is because I'm lazy. Probably just because the sun god is dead. I think it's probably that. I think the sun god is going to be the most annoying or most egocentric god ever, probably, and that would be appropriate too. The unnamed god of light, who's probably part of the lizardman pantheon. There isn't really a lizardman pantheon versus like a human pantheon, really. It works a little differently in Fear and Hunger. Anyway, yeah, here we go. Like, I don't like the cold sun though. So I don't know what that means. Anyway, let's see. This noise. I'm feeling fear beyond anything I've witnessed before in the Temple of Torment. That's interesting. Hey Vapple, yeah, how you doing? If we've got Sun God lore, do you think it'd be in a museum similar to Terminator having the altered Guernica? We're probably not going to get Sun God lore. Gold is just a symbol of domination, is what Francois wants. Oh, that's interesting. Gold is just a symbol of domination. Why is gold the symbol of domination? Because gold is related to the sun. So that's just another... Okay, that's really interesting. Let's write this down. Do I want footage of this? I need Ragnavalda and Kahara in the party. Man, that's going to be a pain to get. No, so you need to be playing as Enki, and you need to get Das, Ragnavalda, and Kahara in the party. Good lord. You know what? I think we'll just... Oh, man. That's a pain. Come on, mouse. Party talks. Gold is the symbol of domination. That's really interesting. That's a little snippet of lore I've never heard before. Gold is the symbol of domination. And gold is the symbol of the sun, and the symbol of... It's a symbol of perfection as well. That's what the alchemists were after, right? It would also be a sign of Das experiencing like a feeling of altitude. Maybe. But I believe Enki mentions it as well when he's being crucified. I believe he's really dead. He's destined for great things. It was clearly written in the prophecies. What grand purpose does his demise serve? Good question. The guy wanted to unify the lands and bring an era of peace, but it doesn't stop here. I can continue his work. I will continue. Interesting. Okay, so that's just one thing. Let's go. Kahara. Place is swarming with flesh-eating flies. Gross. These cave dwellers can't be sane. They just can't. Hey, Pernicious Axolotl. How you doing? Where's Levi? Good question. Gold is also a symbol of Butorici. I don't know what that means. Can you not scour the internet for clips of specific scenes, or is that the same amount of difficult? Basically, yeah. Yeah, there was one channel that had a heap of clips that was really specific stuff called No Commentary, and then they just nuked their channel for some reason. I'm at the point where I'm wondering if I should upload all my clips so people can have that as a resource. Yeah. I also don't like using other people's footage. I don't know what it is. I just don't like using it. Hey, baby killer, how you doing? Same amount difficult since you had to download the vid and cut out the bit you want. There's pretty easy ways of downloading videos. Like there's what is it? YTP L. What is it? YTP. Hang on. Dash L dash DL. YT dash DLP. Yeah. Look that up if you want. YT dash DLP. Here we go. Look this up if you wanna download YouTube videos really quickly, and you're not afraid of using a command line for like one single command. It's really good. Alchemists viewed gold as the most noble metal, partially because it was notoriously difficult to break down with acids. That makes sense. Reference to a visual novel called Umineko. I know Umineko. I never played it though. There's also heaps of wrappers for that. Like, hang on, what's it called? Stasher is something that I use sometimes when I'm feeling really lazy. I prefer that one; it's way better. But you can use stuff like Stasher or whatever just to download stuff. There's heaps of options for it. Most of those programs are just wrappers for YTDLP anyway. So okay. Something malicious living here. I don't think he knows much lore stuff, to be honest. Ancient cities back alley. Come to think of it, these alleyways remind me of Eastern sanctuaries. That's interesting. Is that relevant? Olmir is from Eastern sanctuaries. Huh. Could you say that Olmir rebuilt Mahab in the image of Eastern sanctuaries? You would need more than this. Let's write it down, but we'd need more than this. Maybe. Olmir rebuilt, because he did rebuild Mahab. Most of this stuff you can just like have the dialogue on screen like as actual words and not have the footage. Like it's not that bad. If it's going to be too much of a pain to get. Because I'm pretty sure Olmir is from Jataya as well. When I get back to civilization, the first stop is going to be the brothels and the red light district of Rondon. When I get back, even I don't believe that anymore. I feel like between Helix, Funga, High Swap, and Ultra Kill, waiting for devs to count to 3. Oh man, High Swap. I didn't even bother. I was so burnt out after finishing the comic, the Homestart comic, and I hated the ending. Couldn't stand it, and I was like, I'm done with this series. It was clear that Hussey wasn't the same person by the time he finished the comic, and he wasn't the person that could make a good comic, so I was out. I was done. I'm sensing a connection. This tree is truly curious. I'm sensing a connection to the god of the depths, but it's not quite the same. That's interesting. Hidden tree. What did the other two have to say about the hidden tree? Hidden backyard. Hidden backyard. What in Christ's name is this tree? That's funny. Sense the presence of the god of the depths, but it's not quite the same. Yeah, because the lore goes that someone was a sacrificial marriage to the god of the depths, and they became the tree there. I don't know if that's canon or not. We'll have to find out. Got into it because a friend kept receiving psychic damage from stuff I'd referenced, so I read the whole thing and got to where they are. Anyway, I tried to sketch Mao as warm-up, but it scares me. I haven't drawn anything since. I'm a scary guy. That's what they keep saying. Let's go to the depths, at the altar of darkness. Once this was a terrifying place where the god has been sleeping for a long time now. Only traces of the older god remain in this world anyway. What? Hang on. What? Are you kidding me? God of the Depths is traces. Do you guys understand how big of a deal that is? That's crazy. All this time, I thought we had to kill the actual god in order to ascend. But, so, in order to ascend, you have to kill a god and then basically take its place as a human, right? And you have to, like, you know, be perfect and whatnot. There's a couple of things that don't matter. But we're not killing the god, we're killing its trace, which is a completely different thing. The trace is what's left over after the god has left. So the god of the depths is gone, and we kill its trace and then ascend using that, or the girl ascends using that. Which means that, theoretically, the old god could just come back and then just keep making infinite ascended gods. Hey Scorpio Soul, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. That's very odd. Okay. So that would explain... Thank you, Scorpio Soul. I thought it was alright too. Is that the update video? I had fun making that one. That was, it was crazy digging through all the things Miro has said for like the past 2 years. Yeah, next one's going to be a Fear and Hunger lore video. We're doing a little research on that. So, that makes a bit more sense as to why the sun god allowed Allmere to kill it. Because if we assume that Allmere used the sun god to ascend, which is the most likely case, the question is, why did that happen? How and why did that happen? Because killing a god is no easy feat, and Allmere apparently went there by himself. He went to Mahab in spirit. When he was on the cross for 3 days, he was basically in a trance and went to Mahab. Killed the sun god and then ascended. And how the hell did he do that when he was basically a pacifist? And the answer to that is, I think that the sun god let him do it. And I think that's why Allmere basically remade the old god religion, because the sun god was like, here, I'll do you a deal. You become a god, but you remake our religion. And I think Allmere knew that was the plan anyway. I think all this was very thoroughly planned out before Allmere was even born. And they said the old gods had left, and that makes a lot more sense that not even the sun god was there. They can just ascend using his traces. Okay. Well, thank you for helping me understand the story. It sounds meaner than I intended, but immature creators tend to mistake world building for storytelling. Yes, they do. They do. You're 100% right. And yeah, I'm glad I can help you figure some of it out. Look, honestly though, I don't think that... I'm still trying to understand the story, to be honest. I don't think that my theories are 100% correct. And well, like, this video is an alternate theory compared to another theory that I don't have a massive argument against my old theories. And this is an alternate theory that I'm as confident in, so... Allmere is solo ascending player, yeah, basically. Hmm. But that's interesting. That God of the Depths is traces. So God of the Depths isn't really dead, it's just gone. And probably not coming back either because of the way the world works, but it could theoretically come back. Okay. Well. So presence of an older god fading. Credible pressure. Is this the presence of an older god? Is this Ulmir? So he says that. Enki says that the feeling of Ulmir is fading away. Is that relevant? I'll write it down. I don't think it's super relevant, but why am I? Whoops, in caps. Ulmir's presence fading. So that means he's basically that means he's basically traces now too, right? That's basically what that means. That's assuming that the hang on, how do I do shift 8? There we go. Ascended gods can even make traces. We don't even know. We just got no fucking idea what the deal is. Like, oh, what's going on here? Man, Google Docs, you stop being shit. No. Yeah, okay. What traces of logic would look like? Logic's different. Okay. Let's see. Maha was truly hidden here. Tombs of the gods, multiple. I think that just means that there's probably like new gods laid to rest in there as well. She's to represent another form of the internet. She's not just that. She's also a new god that binds everything together. So she's like a next level higher. I wouldn't say that she plays by the same rules. I had a whole video about it, guys. Come on, guys. I thought you guys were supposed to be watching. I thought you guys were supposed to be mowheads and watching all of my videos.
For the entire month of January.
Whenever I see a video that's like, I did this for 30 days on YouTube and made $1 gazillion, I always watch it. I need to write that down. I'll watch that video later. If we get bored, I guess we can react to it later. A new paradigm, like God, if you're not... Yeah. So she's not just... If she's replacing anything, she's replacing the green hue. Which is a big deal. Very tired? That's fine. Okay, this is it. This is the pit of knowledge. The library is said to grow endlessly in a downward spiral. All the knowledge in the known civilizations is stored here. I do want to know more about the library because we're talking about Bethel or Bettel. Library. Okay. That's in the inner sanctum. Inky's investigating books and bookshelves. Looks like you shouldn't interrupt him. I think the internet has been around long enough for us to really say there's an old form of it, especially in the time frame as long as Fear and Hunger. Yeah, so in order to have a trace, it means the god must leave. And the trace is kind of like a ripple when you, like, splash in water. Temple of Torment. We must go through the procedures no matter what the cost. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Enki knows about the Temple of Torment. Why does Enki know about that? And why does he know about the procedures? That's interesting. What's sigil from the lesser key is that in the little icon in the video you made your profile picture. Oh, that's mine. I made it. It's my sigil. Hang on, do I have a big version of it? Let me see. Do I have a big version on this computer? Come on, buddy, you can do it. Just drag it in there. Why can't I drag it in? That's really annoying. You should just be able to drag it in. Oh, it's so annoying. Well, there. Okay, some more there, sigil. There's secrets hidden in there that nobody's ever noticed before. Secrets. Secrets. Ooh. Anyway, that's enough of that. Goodbye. Enki might know because of the poetry of Ron Chambara being widespread. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Enki's big brain and knows things. Let's look at his forehead. Yes, actually, that's a really good point. Must go through the procedures of torment. It also might be a specific ritual that he would know as well. Being a priest, he would know all the rituals of the new gods. So, what method did you use to come up with that sigil? I just drew it. This is the insides of the gods. Okay, so the gauntlet is explicitly the inside of the god of the depths, which is I thought that was a case, but it's good to know it's specifically gauntlet. There we go. Okay, don't care about Dungeon Knights. Is there any other dialogue we might? I should probably check the other dialogue as well. Yeah, here we go. So this is when Enki is dying on the cross during the flashback, when he gets crucified. He gets taken down, but he said the purpose of us is to sliver under the cold sun the gods have set above us. And that is probably because it's referring to the death of Olmir. Because the gods set him... I'm going to write that down. Cold sun. Why is that not... Yeah, okay. No method. I've heard people writing out design in the native tongue and removing the vowels and repeating the letters and making a sigil, connecting the letters laid on top of each other, but I don't know. I thought it looked like... Yeah. That's the what do they call that again? Is this a chaos sigil, right? Yeah, no, that's not. That's a different method. This is just my signature. My summoning sigil. Just look at it and give me energy. Found in the void. This place is beyond anything I could have expected. It's a true void. What's a hostile doesn't care if a host life or not? It's the polar opposite of one would experience in a world where nature always nurtures life in one form or another. It's something that I've only witnessed in my astrology studies, but when it comes to the blackness of space, those hostile worlds are so distant that it's easy to lull oneself into feeling a false security. It's invigorating, really. I can't remember the last time I actually felt something. This is genuine fear I'm feeling. I want to study the depths of this emotion. Let's continue. Nature always nurtures life in one form or another. Is that relevant? Probably not. Nowadays, internet memes are chaos magic, but better. They absolutely are. Good night, Sonic Boom. Thanks for coming in. Hey, seeing friend. See that video about the endless soul and how its implications of demanding freedom could have unconsciously pushed Kahara to create the god of fear and hunger, and Karen to create logic? No, I didn't. But that kind of makes sense. I can believe it. Something person who's witnessed in astrology studies. When it comes to the blackness of space, as hostile worlds are so different, it's easy to lull oneself into that feeling of false safety. It's interesting that Enki is associating the void with other worlds. And this is something that I don't think this is relevant to this video, but this is something I've talked about a bit when it comes to the Crimson Fathers, because they talk about being from a different world. Crimson Father. Yeah, you can't turn on links in YouTube chat for some reason. Very annoying, because I want people to be able to link stuff, but this creature is not from this world, but motivations lie among humans regardless. So it says that it's not from this world, and everyone's like, oh, that means it's an alien, right? And it's like, well, maybe. And there's talk of the old gods coming from space as well. So there's this interesting connection. So maybe it'll be relevant to this video. We'll see. Don't care about miasma. Show love. No, there's nothing in this for me. I can't believe what I'm saying, but let's do this. Isn't that a stone cold incel anymore? What is this conversation? Low mind. Boop, 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 boop. If Ragnvalder's in the party, does he have a nice conversation with Ragnvalder? Ragnvalder convinces him to stay. That's really nice. Is there anything else? What is an Eclipse Talisman? It's a symbol that you're an apprentice of the wizard Nashra, the bringer of chaos. The talisman holds great powers on its own, but also gives you a plethora of new friends and enemies. You don't seem to be too familiar with the greater scheme. So imagine the talisman going on is a waste in the hands of you. Would you mind giving it to me, perhaps? Okay. You seem to carry an Eclipse Talisman. Got it from Yellow Mage. It says, miserable servants of Nashra are crawling everywhere these days. The religion of Nashra growing in the west with rapid rate. Since the Eastern Sanctuaries lost the Great War in the past, this must be Nashra's way of spreading his rotten roots and influence. I wonder what... That must be talking about the Crusades, then. It's kind of interesting that there's yellow mages everywhere at this point. But by the time of Termina, there's a lot fewer of them. Since the Eastern Sanctuaries lost the Great War in the past, that must actually just sort of be referring to the fall of Nashra as well. When did the Four Ages come about? Hang on. 4 Ages of history. Okay. Around the year 800. When were the Crusades? "200 years later. Doesn't quite line up. So I wonder what war was against the Middle East in the year 800. Roman Persia 800 year war. I'm just gonna fucking useless. I'm just gonna ask Grok. Grok, what year? What? Facing a mortified war against the Middle East, we might understand it. The Byzantine Abbasid Wars. Internal rebellions. Charlemagne. Charlemagne was crowned Holy Roman Empire in the year 800. But his campaigns were focused on Europe. Charlemagne is actually mentioned, so that's interesting. No, I don't know if there's a specific war there. I wonder. It could have been later too. Like, it could have been their conquest, the Fellowship's conquest afterwards, right? Which could have been related to Charlemagne, I suppose. Or rather, as he's called, is Charles Magnus in this, I believe. Well, I don't think it's that relevant. Yo, Altered Hero, thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. Thank you very much, man. Great content. Thanks. I'm glad I can make content that you people enjoy. That's always the battle, isn't it? Religion of Rashra grows in the West Rift. Oh, yeah. This is just referring to him worshipping sulfur. So yes, this is relevant. Let's write it down. Because he's a sulfur worshipper, but in secret. Talk about hopes gain a small advantage in the darkness. Dark priests are generally frowned upon in the suppressed modern societies. Then we suddenly become a valuable asset when facing eternal darkness. Your survival is none of my concern. Based. In fact, you would likely be more valued to me after the horrors of these dungeons had their way with you. I'm through with you. What does it look like? I can see how a brute like yourself wouldn't understand the meaning of libraries. Yeah, for some reason the Dark Priests are suppressed in modern societies, which means they're probably more old god worshippers than new god worshippers. And I think they're only permitted because of the Ormir worship. I'm going to write this down. Okay. Let's see. I don't think Kahara has anything interesting to say, like, whatsoever. Just don't destroy my anus with those big muscles of yours. God damn it, Kahara. God damn it. Yeah, no, he doesn't really have any interesting dialogue, really. How about Das? Let's see, she should. I'm going to embrace the darkness. Nothing matters to me anymore but survival. What is true domination? There is no domination if there is no weak. That is a law of nature. There is no shame in admitting that you want power over the poor and weak. You yourself have sought domination by getting this far. You wanted to prove to the others you got what it takes. You wanted to dominate the oppressive and hopeless darkness. I think this is somewhat relevant because Olmir is the god of domination. This gives us a bit more context about what Miro means about domination. Hmm. Hmm. Name is Das Catalyst. I am part of the Knights of the Midnight Sun. I apologise in advance. My manners might be seen as strict, a bit strict for lowly commoners. Originally had an uprising in the kingdom of Rondon as a royal knight before leaving with the Knights of the Midnight Sun. I serve Olmir as my primary god, like most people that come from Rondon. Try to teach Olmir's teachings to those cave-dwelling savages, but they didn't seem to understand a thing that I said. So most people that come from Rondon worship Olmir. That's interesting. Okay. Who was Ragenvald? How the fuck do you spell Ragenvald? Rag. Here. Right, let's see. The evil residing here will grow that much stronger, the resident evil. My kind, northern people of Oldegard, we found the dark continent of Vinland and the far reaches in the west. The moment you lay your eyes on the crooked mountains and the twisted forests of those lands, you feel the presence of a greater evil. It's the same evil that resides here, so it is the land of the depths, isn't it? You find a relic that certain person took from my people. The man is in prison somewhere down deep below. This is truly curious. They say these are in the intestines of the god of the depths. That means we're inside an older god. So he's talking about the thicket there, which is pretty wrong, but I don't know. The god of the depths? Yeah, yes. He is not that well known a god. He is mostly worshipped by those who are forsaken and forgotten. People often shy away from light and prefer dark corners of the earth. You've seen the cave dwellers, they prove my point quite well. God of the depths is responsible for the layout of these dungeons. He is ever changing his shape to challenge the visitors. I try to please him if I were to delve deeper. Okay. Interesting. Is that relevant? No, not really. Don't care. Show love. No. Very well. Yeah, the amount of time you spend in the void is completely different. It's really random. Ragnvalder and some of the other people have been there for ages by the time you find them. But he was there for 3 months before he sat, since he got there, so it's pretty crazy. This tree is, how do you say it, magnificent. It's a maiden of the depths. Oh, here we go. The human bridge of the god that formed these dungeons. The two could never truly be together, a mere human being and an olden god, but desperately the maiden still tries to link the human world with the world of the gods to this day. Oh, this is... So this is really interesting. We have a tree that looks identical to a Venushka tree, and the story is about someone trying to link the world of the humans and the gods. Now, this is actually a really important part in my video, actually. So this is really good. Because I think that Venushka was originally intended to teach humanity their proper place in the hierarchy, and by doing that, allowed them to grow and ascend and join the old gods. But it failed because humans just wanted domination, and so then along comes Olmir, the god of domination, which is another way for humans to properly understand their place in reality and properly worship the old gods. But for some reason, he died and failed too. So then, finally, thousands of years later, along comes Lagarde trying to do the same thing, and he makes logic, which is a way for all of humanity to ascend. But I think that there's a couple of schemes going on there. I think Olmir had his own plans. He knew what the plan the old gods had for him was, but he had his own plans. Olmir is still alive. Ragnvalder is saying he's not dead. That's really interesting. Why is he not dead? That's very odd. But no, this is pretty crazy, actually. This is almost just outright saying that within the context of Termina. Because I never understood why the tree, the Maiden of the Depths, looks identical to a Venushka tree. I did not understand that. Let's see if we can pull that up, actually. Will this have ritual circles? Here we go. Imperfect. How will we find this? Old God Circle Venushka. Hey, hi, Rolly Nacha. Love your content. Do you plan on doing a live or pre-recorded Let's Play, checking out all the new Termina content when it finally drops? I absolutely will. Oh boy, am I. Well, this isn't quite identical, is it? It is a bit different. How do we zoom in? How do we zoom in on this? I don't know. But it is odd. It is odd that it's a tree, right? It could have been anything, but it was a tree. Let's see. These Makard curving towers, the sun that burns cold and vicious on the horizon, it's Mahab, the city of the gods. Okay, so this implies that the cold sun is only in Mahab. So I guess when Enki was on the cross, he was sort of doing the same thing that Olmir did. Okay. That makes sense. We have it. Cold sun, in brackets, only in Mahab. Right. And we have Dar said something about it too, didn't she? Where was that? Enki... Kara... No, he said nothing of value, didn't he? Don't like the cold sun though. You see the cityscape from this up high. It's breathtaking. Yes, okay. Get that. And then Enki also said... Cold. Here we go. There's no silver lining waiting at the end. The purpose is to sliver under the cold sun the gods have set above us. And see, he says that when he's on the cross, when he's having visions, and dying, basically. So that implies the cold sun is only in Mahab. And that implies that Enki implies that the cold sun is only in Mahab, implying that Enki is having visions while crucified, lending credence to the idea that Olmir visited Mahab when crucified. Okay. Because moves the tree, because roots root deep. Could be. I've had researched and thought out your videos are fair hungry. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. I do put a lot of effort in. I try to make it perfect. Gonna get taken out. Let's catch you later, Bindle. Thanks for coming in. Okay. Raggy. Yeah, here we go. The sun burns, especially bright up here. It burns cold. Don't need that one because we already got it. Nature and all this growth here doesn't seem repulsed by the darkness and evils. So that's really interesting. Nature in Mahab. Get rid of the... I accidentally copied the box. I don't want the box. Here. Who else was talking about nature? Was it Dars or was it actually Kahara? Seems like nature is slowly taking over this place. That's interesting. So nature, of course, just means Venushka, right? So what does this imply? Nature and all this growth doesn't seem to be repulsed by the darkness and evils. Nature is slowly taking over this place. Is the god of the depths just the traces of Venushka? Is that where the god of the depths is? What are the god of the depths abilities? They're like insect based, aren't they? Venushka, god of the depths. No, we want skills. Skills. God affinity skills. We want God affinity skills. Here we go. God of the depths. Needleworm, mastery of insect, flock of crows, locust swarm. Venushka. Pyromancy trick, combustion, so fire, plants. Nothing to do with bugs. If Venushka was killed, if Venushka was killed, that would explain... What would that explain? The god of the depths could be the traces of a dead god. Because this Venushka was killed. We know Venushka's dead. And we know that God of the Depths is traces, and we don't know who or what the God of the Depths is. Hang on. Hang on. Why can't I just drag this in? This is so dumb. But they're both nature-based, aren't they? So it's like Venushka, right? And then we go God of the Depths. God of the Depths. So check this out. Check this out. Look at this. Look at this face, right? How do I zoom in here? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Am I just crazy? Am I crazy, guys? Look at the face. Look at that. And it looks like it's covered in bark and vines. This is supposedly the true form. Supposedly. Could God of the Depths be the traces of Venushka? Because where the hell are the traces of Venushka? How reliable is most of this dialogue for accurate and correct information? Given the context where the information comes from, it could be unreliable. Yes, so the way it has to work in these games is quite simple. What we do is we assume what people are saying is correct if it is said with authority. We assume that it is correct until another source proves it wrong, right? And usually there is basically no conflicting information this way. There is basically no conflicting information in the games whatsoever, unless it is explicitly said so. So the only times there is conflicting information is when something is deliberately obscured. So we find out more about... well, most of the time information isn't even conflicting. So like with what we find out from Black Caleb isn't conflicting with what we know already. It's just unfolding it more. So to say that Sulfur was born from Olmi, it doesn't conflict with previous information. It just tells us more. The only other conflicting information is things like, so the Fellowship books, and then we find the unedited versions, which implies that yes, that's correct. The Venushka Skin Bible, and we find the unedited version, which again we have to assume that is correct. And then there is the argument between Enki and Father Hugo, and both of them are just talking past each other. They're not even conflicting information whatsoever. They think they are, but they're not. So Venushka is secretly Sylvian in disguise as the god of the depths. Yes. So basically, the rule of thumb you can take with these games is that it is correct until proven otherwise. You can basically do that with Dark Souls too, usually. So they're not really interested in massive red herrings, basically. Where's the zoom? Enki and Ragnvald are likely reliable sources and less inclined to take what Kahara and Das say as fact when it comes to God lore. No, so they don't actually say that much. You know what games like these need? What do they need, Bonesy? So people give the idea of being unreliable sources, but then they just don't say anything about it. So Kahara says nothing about Olmir. If Kahara went on the big spiel about Olmir, then yes, you could probably not trust it, but he doesn't. That's the thing. Despite the games having lots and lots of dialogue, it's still very specific. It is there for a specific reason. Character who deliberately lies to people to manipulate them into doing what they want, so you have no idea which parts of the lore are true. That'd be really funny. Yeah, that would be funny. See, the problem with that is, right, you think maybe that would be Lagarde, but it's not, because everything Lagarde says we know is a fact. And you think, well, okay, well, then that might be Nashra as well. But then he's kind of not interested in doing that. He only ever says things that are true as well. So, but whenever he's wrong, he like... No, so the things he says aren't true, but you know that he's lying, and so you just assume the opposite. So I guess you've kind of got to be careful with that too. You would have to seed it throughout everybody's dialogue, then. And that just does not seem to be the case in this game. When I first saw the Super iPatch World video about fear and hunger, I expected Mahab was going to be a city underground with a false sun. Well, that's the way it's implied, but no, it's not. It's a different reality. So, perhaps the old gods wore many hats. They did. Enki, I understand, given he is a scholar and theologian who has experienced ecstatic vision through torment, but Ragnvalder. I understand his backstory and generally would concur he's a somewhat reliable source in certain contexts, but in a general sense, I would argue that he is not, and I would agree that in general, Ragnvalder would not be as reliable as Das, who, as a noble and a knight, would have done a fair amount of study. Look, in general, I would trust Enki, Das, Ragnvalder, and then Kahara in that order. And I wouldn't trust Kahara for much at all, to be honest. But I would trust Ragnvalder about the things he's seen. Question. Questions. Could the god of the depths be the traces of Venushka? Trust Kahara with all of my light blue vials personally. Look, I hear it's pretty. I trust him with all my silver coins too. Actually, you know. Okay. This temple is something I've never witnessed before. Maybe even I have underestimated the evils this world carries. Is he talking about the Grand Library? That's so funny. That must be a mistake. Yeah. Whoops. That's for the Temple of Torment. Okay. Right, that's all the party talks from the first game. Oh god. Just kill me. I think I have a feeling that most of these guys will just not have anything interesting to say at all. Levi dialogue. Marinara dialogue. Bella dialogue. Dan dialogue. Who else is playable? Fuck, I keep forgetting. Osar dialogue. Karen dialogue. Hang on, there's two more. There's two more, isn't there? Isn't there two more? Marco dialogue, and the last one is fuck, who's the last one? Nah. Tanaka, Pav, Marina, Marco, Olivia. She's my favorite. Okay. I can't believe I forgot Olivia. Yeah, look, most. Yeah, this is missing heaps. God damn it. That channel, No Commentary, had every single bit of dialogue from every character, and they nuked their channel for no reason. I think a lot of these guys don't talk about much esoteric stuff compared to the first game. The first game was way more esoteric. That's probably why I don't like the vibes of Termina as much. I think the gameplay is better, but the vibes aren't quite as good as the first game, because the first game was weird. Man, was it weird and esoteric, and this one is a lot less that. Hopefully, I don't know if it's going to add more in the update. It's going to be cool though. Update's going to be cool, but I don't think it's going to get as more esoteric. So. Yeah, not really. The hanging platform in the schoolyard was there when Levi was growing up in the orphanage. That's so funny. They didn't add that afterwards. It's kind of evil. Just in an orphanage and you leave a fucking gallows there. Yeah, nah, nothing. That's right. Samari was part of the... What were they? What was she part of again? What was that group Samari was part of? I can't remember what it was called. The Inner Sanctum or something. Hang on. It's summary dialogue. Yes, we can. Awesome. Doesn't she? Can't she tell when you're reading her mind? Only has sulfur and logic has the irrational obelisk. Could be the old gods have similar opposites and death as the other half of Venushka. Maybe. I think people overemphasize the opposite idea. Because of Grogroth and Sylvian, because they're opposites. And I think people want every other god to have an opposite as well. And I don't know how much that is the case. No, Pocket Cat knows when you're reading his mind, right? And he reads your mind as well. It's so funny. This is crazy. How she's like, yeah. The summary is like, I can travel via the red arcs, and that is never addressed. And I don't think that's a mistake either. I think that's kind of crazy. Because that means red arc is the equivalent of both hurting and blood portal. Created this world for her. That's weird. Yeah, I don't think she's... I don't expect there's going to be much actually interesting here. The town was torched by the moon. I wanted none of that, so instead I drew a sigil of Ormir, created the blood portal, and got there fast. Simple. Yeah, so there's the equivalent. She's like, hey, yeah, I travelled by the red arcs. Okay, what the hell is a red arc? And she's like, yeah, I travelled by a blood portal. So she straight up says that red arc and blood portal are the same thing. There's so much crazy stuff in this game. Like little mentions like that. There we go, 9th Circle at the Ministry of Darkness. Vatican City's been trying to reach the older gods for hundreds of years, all without luck. Supposedly, a select group of children who were considered naturally gifted at channeling the otherworldly were locked in the 9th Circle where their bodies would wither in an ancient rite to receive any messages from the older gods, all without luck. Okay. Kind of odd, isn't it? I don't know how useful that is, but... well, it basically proves that Ormir is fucked off. He's dead and gone. Hey, Raccoon, how you doing, man? Do you mean killing? It's what he wants, it with what the moon wants. Is this a spoiler stream? No. No, we're just doing research. What the moon wants. The moon wants people to kill in the festival. That's interesting. That makes sense. Yeah, we're going alright. The festival doesn't happen by chance. The moon god chose this area on purpose. If you find out what that purpose is, and the purpose is obviously... well, it's either sulfur or logic, isn't it? It could... it's probably logic. Oh, this song bangs. Cigarette Wife, what a banger. Yeah, you reading my mind. Yes, you are. Stay out. That's funny. Very little we humans can do once the gods decide to act. So true. Okay. Mom told us old tales of the elk man sleeping his eternal slumber in these woods. She warned me and my friends, my posse, not to stray too far from the old town, otherwise the elk man would catch us and eat us at the slumber snack. That's true, that actually happens. We don't need to write that down. The water where the orphans are baptized and everybody in the town is baptized is where they perform human sacrifices in the lake. It's the same spot, which is pretty funny. It's a shame Mind Reader's pretty locked into the rare tree. Yeah. This bunker definitely wasn't here before. No, it was, though. That's the thing. Some of the bunkers are really old. She's been away since for the entire war, but some of the bunkers are really old. They're older than what she realizes. So she is actually wrong here. Which one is the Tunnel 5? That's the one in Old Town on the right? On the east. Yeah. Where Noodles... Needles... I'm gonna call him Noodles from now on. Where Noodles has his way with you. So the cross is there. The cross is a relic of the past. Never seen them in use before this. If a bell is in the party, what religion would have rituals like this? Be the Church of Ormir, part of the Bible. Rites like this are ancient past in most places, but good old pre-Hebel manages to surprise you yet again. Interesting, I've never seen Ormir's cross in proper use. I thought the Western world had gone too soft. They have crosses like these in all villages and towns across Europa still 200 years ago. Usually a village would sacrifice anywhere from 1 to 10 people on a cross every year to appease Ormir and ask for protection. Like I said, the rite started to die out a couple of hundred years ago, but some places obviously still kept the ritual. The places are usually ones that still feel the need for Ormir's protection for one reason or another. During times of war, some villagers even try to ward off Bremen army with these things. Interesting. T. Hey, Thanatos, have we discovered any cursed lore? Yes, we have, actually. Yes, we have. We discovered that God of the Depths is traces. And it might be that God of the Depths is the traces of Venushka. Tea? I wouldn't mind some tea, actually. My dinner's going to be in about an hour, so I have about an hour left. I haven't gotten to recording anything. I'm still just doing research. Like how magic works in this setting. You basically tell magic, I'm him, and magic says, yeah, you're right, and you get to cast setting. That's basically it, yeah. That's how chaos magic works IRL, too. Do we care about this? No, because this is just referring to humanity being changed by the god of fear and hunger. If Venushka was the sun god, Venushka killed itself to be fodder for Ormir's ascension, and then its traces were the god of the depths, which was then used for fodder to make the girl. And then the cube of Venushka was used to make logic. I could believe that Venushka was the cause of all forms of ascension. I could believe that. Considering its nature as a god of enlightenment. Okay. So who isn't Venushka then? Good question. Rare. Rare is the only god not explicitly related to Venushka. That we know of. Oh, that's right. Olivia's a vegetarian. I forgot about that. Well, outside of nightmare carnivals. Finally, Church of Ormir. Oh Lord, get me as far away from here as possible. That's how you pray to him, right? That's funny. Ormir the Ascended One, or at least a cool list of such. Why do you say cool list? Cool list is a really odd term, and I don't remember the exact. Cool list define. A flat piece of scenery at the edge of stage of a theatre, the spaces between flat scenery, so it's like a fake, basically. A backstage area. The law feels like the gods coming to the conclusion that they will fade or die and are trying to keep their coughing baby alive and failing, but somehow the baby lives. So, what I think happened is that the gods came to Earth and they saw the lizards and they're like, hey, these things are cool. And they're messing around with the lizards, and then after a while Sylvian is like, you know what would be really cool was if we could help them become gods like us. And so they made Venushka. And then that didn't work. Because lizards they can't do it. They're too mundane. So then Sylvian was like, well, let's make something that can. And so they made humans. And humans were trudging along, and they're not going so great, right? They don't like listening. Okay? Hello, our Russian friend. Well, no, we're still digging, although maybe for like less than an hour before I have to wrap up. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a call. I'll be right back for 1 second. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Yeah, the call was from Miro actually, and he told me to cut it out, or he's coming to get me. No, no, we're back. We're back, guys. How you doing? Okay, so what were we talking about? That's right. It's a cool list as such. It's not really. They're not worshipping Olmir in the church. Yada yada. They remade the dungeons under the church to be blood pits. Anything interesting? Sylvian Square, with the biggest brothel in the town, used to be located there. These are sacrificed temple maidens to appease the gods in the woods, and that's where the sacrificial pits come from. And then they move them to underneath the church. And that idea of sacrificial pits is pretty strong in the first game as well. Hang on. Maiden of the Depths. That's interesting. So that was the name of the person who was sacrificed to the depths. Maiden of the Depths, a human bridge of the god that formed these dungeons. The two could never be together, but being a mere human being and an older god, but desperately the maiden still tries to link the human world with the world of the gods to this day. And then you've got the Maiden Woods, and they used to sacrifice temple maidens to the... It's interesting that they're both, like... the idea of casting a maiden into the depths. That's really interesting. In order to form a bridge. A bridge between... Okay. Casting a maiden into the depths in order to form a bridge between the world of humans and the gods. Because that's literally what you do with the god of fear and hunger. You're casting the girl into the depths and to form a bridge between humanity and the gods. Interesting. That's interesting. Why did they know that? Why did that work? How did they know that? That's the question. They knew that because... How did they know that would work? Question mark. Because the tale of the maiden was spread so far that even the older guardians knew about it. So the tale of the Maiden of the Depths was spread so far that even Ragnvald knew about it. Which, admittedly, he does travel around a lot, but still. So everybody knew that you could do that. You could form a bridge between the human world and the world of the gods. You could form that bridge. And so they ritualized it. Creating the sacrificial pits. Like, the sacrificial pits are so common that even they're all throughout the woods around Preheval. They're underneath the church in Preheval as blood pits, and you've got the Tormented One. He has his own sacrificial pit. And actually, in cut content, you could see that the battle background of Mahab had pits. Water pits. Wells. They had wells. The girl became god of fear and hunger, so clearly the maiden is depths. Or maybe I'm just throwing words out and hoping something sticks. No, I think she's the fulfillment of the maiden of the depths story. She's a fulfillment of that story. Girl is a fulfillment of the story of the maiden. Because stories are important. I think maybe people just kept telling that story over and over again in order to make it real, like Hyperstition. But where did that story come from in the first place? And it came from the Maiden of the Depths. Interesting. And the Maiden of the Depths is just straight up a tree. And of everything it could have been, it's a tree. Why is it a tree? Because it's related to Venushka. Why is it related to Venushka? Because Venushka was a god of enlightenment and tried to teach humanity how to... Why is it a tree? Because it's related to Venushka, who tried to teach humanity how to reach the gap between worlds. That's also why, which is also why the cube of Venushka the cube of the depths bracket, which is likely the cube of Venushka, allows one to physically travel to Mahab, the realm of the gods. The gods also built the throne in Mahab, a device to literally bring humans as close as possible to the home of the old gods, the void. Interesting. Okay. Hey Shingetsu, how you doing? Okay. Yes, this is coming together. What do you guys think? Does that sound right? Old and ascended gods always exist once they're born, right? Maybe God of Fear and Hunger used the freaky time stuff to create the story herself, some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy like our priest saw their idol before she ascended. I think that's a little overblown, because it's clear that the God of Fear and Hunger changed. Excuse me. I think that's a little overblown because the God of Fear and Hunger clearly changed humanity once she was born. And we know that nature is dying. So I think that was a bit of an odd statement to make, and that isn't really true. I'm good, but thinking about Moonscorch, a whole lot of inner self manifesting stuff. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? Okay. Theory was so bad it caused Mao to start choking. It did. It did. You killed me. You killed me with your theory. Boo, 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 boo. Let's see. Let's see. So the orphanage used to be a courthouse. That's interesting. Are the literal corpse bridge before the girl becomes a god of fear and hunger previous sacrifices in an attempt to fulfill the story? Maybe. So the implication is that the cave dwellers are throwing corpses into the mouth of the god of the depths. And they just don't rot because of magic. I don't think they were there to fulfill that story specifically, but more of a general attempt just to please the god. And in a metaphorical sense, as like a bridge that humans don't achieve anything by themselves. They achieve things because of their forebears. But metaphor and reality are the same thing in Fear and Hunger, so. So you're standing in the bodies of all those who have failed in the past to achieve what you're now achieving. So glad to see you're still working hard. Well, yeah, I'm glad. Thank you. It's just a lot of research. It's fun. We might have we might do another research stream tomorrow because this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would. But I'm having fun. So what do you guys reckon? Would you want another one tomorrow? We'll see. We'll see how tired I am. Corpse a day keeps your wrath of the gods away. So true. Sulfur makes Caligura playable and my soul is yours. Exactly. How you doing, Jengus? Look, I said this once before and we'll see how we go. But yeah, we'll I would like to help make if Caligura doesn't end up being playable, I would like to help make that happen somehow. I don't know how. Maybe we'll get someone to mod it in. But we'll wait and see, because Miro is going to be adding at least a couple of one or two characters to the game in the next major update after this one. So not the one coming. Is definitely not the one coming. Unless Miro has rused us all, but I doubt it. And then it'll probably be Pav. It'll either be Pav, Samari, or Tanaka. Or maybe a couple of those, maybe just one of those first up. Because Miro doesn't know how difficult it is going to be to add all the stuff he needs to add for them. And how much time he wants to spend on it and whatnot. So we'll see exactly how many get added. We'll at least get one, though. At the very least. I would like all the rest of them to be added, but it is what it is. Every day more there for 100 years. So true! Every day. Ali is a burial for high-ranking dark priests that live in pre-evil through the ages. It's a great privilege to get a spot here. I can care less about that. Statue of Olmir. There used to be a large crack going through it. We hate the boxing skill around here. Nice to have a character that starts somewhere else besides the train. I don't think that'll happen. Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe with Samari, I do hope that they're completely different, right? So maybe with Samari you can get like access to all the areas like straight away with Blood Portal or something like that, because she canonically Blood Portal straight into the center of town. So the tower is the Moon Tower. I thought so. It's the oldest building in Preheval. Supposedly it stood there alone for 1,000 years before people started to build their houses around it. Now that is really interesting. The Hollow Tower is the Moon Tower. I'm pretty sure I remember that. Do you know who else had a Moon Tower? Why, yes, that's right. It was Nilvan. Nilvan had a Moon Tower. And do you know how we know that? Because there was a mysterious... Because, well, she operates through dreams, right? Nilvan operates through dreams, which necessarily are related to the God of the Night. And there was a mysterious character called the Head Priestess Selene, who was very high tier priestess who could boss around anybody in the dungeon. And the thinking goes is that High Priestess Selene was actually Nilvan, who helped Lagarde become tormented and tortured, because that was part of the schemes. And what I'm thinking is that she 4D chest Rare, right? She pretends to be a priestess of Rare, gained his trust, learned the secrets on how to make an ascended god, and then made the girl. That's what I'm thinking. Since Selene is obviously another word for moon, so. Can we get a lore video about where Ormir's penis went? Yeah. Father Hugo's, they say he's lived for 100 years, some say he's a vampire, some say he bathes in the blood of newly born babies. Golly. It's a city museum. Boo, 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 boo. Whoops. I love how many times you can just like look at the characters silently and judge them, and they do the same thing. They get sad. Yeah, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, that was a lot of juicy dialogue there, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. Okay. Abella. We'll probably just have time to do this one, and then we'll probably have to finish up. Maybe, depending on how... It'd probably go fast. But there's so much more dialogue in this game than the first game. Just from the sheer fact there's like way more people. But even then, way more people, way more areas, and just heaps more dialogue. Like when you look at the dialogue from the first game's characters, they have less dialogue compared to like... The ratio of places to dialogue is still lower. So someone should mess with the wiki and make another character that's called Purple Caligura. No, they did that with the other one. They did that with the other wiki, the fandom wiki. That was a mess. That was so funny that day when they destroyed the fandom wiki. I had a video about it, didn't I? It was like, man, that was a good darker than dark. How would you see? Um, no, not this channel. Whatever. It's on my main channel. Mythonics. Here we go. Wiki. What is happening on the Fear and Hunger wiki? That was mad stream. That was really fun. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. That's an old one now. That was 2 years ago. That was? Wow, really? Has it really been 2 years? That's crazy. I keep the old wiki open as a side reference for animating. In the middle of the night, Ragnvaldr became Peter Griffin. Oh, that's so funny. But no, we don't vandalize wikis here. I don't promote that, even when it's funny. It was pretty funny, but I don't promote that. Especially not wiki.gg. This one's actually really good. This is a really good wiki. Wiki.gg. This is what every wiki should strive to be like. This is how and it's not finished yet, but that's just a case of the fact that there's so much stuff in the game. It's sort of hard to. Ragnvaldr was August. He is, yeah. Still one of the funniest. It was pretty funny. That was the other wiki, the fandom one, which was kind of junk to begin with anyway. Even in the lowest depths of the dungeon, I'm still a family guy from the north. Man, that was so good. Caught that one live, 10 out of 10 stream. I woke up and I saw people talking about that. And I was like, this is going to get fixed soon, so I have to stream right now. And I dropped what I was doing and I jumped on stream and did it. And oh man, that was so funny. Worth it. 100% worth it. Okay. Let's keep going. I made a clip. I don't know if links are banned. So on Twitch it should be fine. Hang on, let's see. He opened as a side reference for animating. In the middle of the night, Ragnvaldr became Peter Griffin. Oh, just now, yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about the original one, yeah. No, that's funny. Yeah, that original stream is pretty funny. I think Enki could pull off cornrows. Yeah, I think he could. You do shorts later? Oh, no, that's fine. I should do shorts, but I don't. Wasn't going to fix my audio on here. It's so echoey. I don't know why, but I've been meaning to build sound panels, actually. Enki can pull off anything. Side effect of enlightenment. True. Yeah, I don't think she says anything particularly interesting. From memory, it's mostly just Osar and Marina that say like really interesting lore stuff. And maybe some little bits scattered throughout the rest, but not that they have to, you know. It's like Kahara in the first game. He's just some rogue who roams around. Like, would he know much? Probably not. If you're in Hunger Game, will take place in Wyoming. So then you've got the whole thing with Olivia being the shadowed soul and being obsessed with plants, right? Compared to her sister Ryla with the radiant soul, which is obviously supposed to have something to do with Olmir, right? It's obvious, it's obvious. So then what's the deal with that? And both of them are described as the seed of their father. This is another reason why I thought that Olmir might be a child of Grogoroth, as in, like, use his soul to ascend. And I don't know how to square that with a new theory. Livy Moonscorch is just Ream, it kind of is, yeah. We love people who just don't know anything, so true. So how do you square that? How do you square Olivia being the twin of Ryla and then explicitly being opposites? In a very similar form to Olmir and Venushka, who are also positioned as opposites. It's tough. My theory that Venushka was the sun god and that Olmir used them to ascend, it's not really working out. I'm sorry, bros. I'm figuring it out. I'm thinking about it. Okay, let's write this down. I have a spot for questions. How do we square the Olivia Shadow Soul Ryla Radiant Soul positioning compared to Venushka / Olmir, the theory that Venushka was the sun god. Does Venushka only have one appearance? No, Venushka has 2 appearances. Well, the way we do that is by saying it was a metaphor that Olmir was the child of the sun god, of Grogoroth, who isn't the sun god. Venushka was the sun god, and sun god is more of a title than an actual thing. Because Olmir inherited a whole bunch of blood magic from somewhere. Probably from the blood god, Grogoroth. But he could do that by either using Grogoroth's soul to ascend or by using Venushka's. Because Venushka is the child of Grogoroth. So they're twins in a metaphorical sense. They're both children of the same god. We're saying that it's a metaphor, as in Olmir isn't the literal child of sun of Grogoroth, but a metaphorical one. Okay. I don't really like that. And how do we square Grogoroth roaming around in human skin? Man, I keep coming back to Grogoroth as the sun god, or rather as the god that Olmir used to ascend, because man, it fits so well. Ugh. Twins like Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Yeah, exactly. Hmm. Um. Hmm. Yeah, there's not really. She's more technical stuff, right? So it's not like. So it's not like. Super interesting. For our perspective, at least. She gives like modern lore and like about the technology and whatnot at the time, but not what we're into at the moment. So we're not that interested in. Yeah, no, not really interested in what she's got to say. Um, Have you guys played Abiotic Factor? I've been playing Abiotic Factor recently, and it's really fun. Like it's awesome. I'm really enjoying it. Maybe I'll show you guys my base. We'll see what Dan has to say, and then I'll crack that open and show you my what's happening. No, actually I won't do that. I don't feel like doing that actually. Maybe I'll stream it sometime. Why is the genie obsessed with digging in your butt? Because it's trying to get your soul out. It is. I believe that the genie is logic trying to understand sulfur. Playing it now, I have. It's so good, isn't it? Like it's really fun. Really creative game. I think I'm about halfway through. I just got up to the animal pens. I believe they call it the Cascade Laboratories. I just got up to that spot, and it's starting to introduce some more interesting mechanics. I would like it if it leaned more into like the SCP really weird stuff more, but I feel like it's just building up to it. So I don't want to make that judgment until I actually finish the game. So hydroplan. I don't even know what that is yet. Hey Gunzalock89, how you doing? We've just been basically researching for my next lore video. And it's going slower than I thought it would, but we're figuring out some interesting stuff, so I'm fine with that. We're just seeing if anybody has any interesting lore for us, but not so much in Termina. A little bit, but no, the first game is definitely the more lore heavy one, I think. In terms of like what the characters say. Because they're more just like normies in the second game, right? But in the first game they're people who specifically went into the most evil place on the earth for some reason. Yeah, if the God of the Depths is the traces of Venushka, that would explain why we don't see Venushka at all. It would explain a lot, actually. Hmm. I'm running out of steam a little bit. Yeah, we might just stop after this, I think. Yeah, I kind of want to do because you know how I do most of my stuff is Fear and Hunger, right? But I also do other games. I wouldn't mind doing one about Abiotic Factor because it's a really interesting game and it's fun, it's creative. It's like Half-Life combined with SCP. Brilliant, awesome, do it, great, it's great, it works so well. And yeah, really fun game, really enjoy it. Got fantastic map. It does have really good map design actually. I do like how whenever you first go into an area, it's super complicated. Um, and then you sort of learn how to move around it and figure it out, and like you bake it into your head. It's really good. And at first, I didn't like that you didn't have a real map, like you didn't have like a basically a thing that shows your location at all times, right? But now, as I'm playing it, I'm realizing how good of an idea that was to do to not have a real map, because then you've got to learn your way around and opening up doors that lead back to old areas, and it's really good. I really like it. Um, I was a little surprised. I thought you had to move your base around with you, so that's what I've been doing. I didn't realize. It took me a little while to realize that they all just lead straight back to the same central area. So I've just been moving my base around with me, and I've only realized that now that I'm up to Cascade. Now that I'm up to the Pens, um, I was like, oh, I could have just built my base in like the central hall, and it would have been fine. Oh well. But it is good to have like your full base right in the center of what you need to do. Saves a bit of time. It just takes a lot of time to move it around, even with a even with a forklift. When I realized that you can move a whole bunch of stuff with a forklift, I was like, hell yeah, this is great. Hooning around the labs in the forklift is awesome. What about starting a new save and traveling like with my base packed in a forklift? Well, that's basically what I'm doing. Although it takes me like 3 or 4 forklift trips to move it now because you just build up so much stuff. I think it is better to have a central base with like all of your stuff and then have a smaller one you can move around with you. But I wouldn't do more than 2 considering they get attacked, right? They can get attacked in the night. And then it'd just be a pain to have to travel all around the place to find the one that's getting attacked. You know, there really is a good balance of characters in Terminator, isn't there? Like Levi with his PTSD and Dan as more of a successful soldier, but then his life gets fucked up for completely different reasons. Hello, Witchweaver. How you doing? Thanks for coming in. We're just doing a little bit of research. It's not the most exciting stream, but you know, it's good to. Well, it's better than nothing. Ha! Dan doesn't really say much interesting in terms of lore. At least nothing to do with Allmir and Venushka like we're looking for. Yeah, I might do another research stream tomorrow. This is helping me focus a bit, actually. I've been having a little bit of trouble focusing lately because I've been getting no sleep. Like, literally. One night I got like 3 hours sleep. And then the other day I slept for... I went to bed at like 9 and I slept through until like 8:30. It was crazy. Wow, it was all of Osar's dialogue here. This is really good. We might say this for next time, right? Let's write it down. Let's write it down. Who's left? Who is left? Who is left? We have Osar, we have Karen, we have Marco, we have Olivia, best girl. We have Pav, we have Tanaka, we have Caligura, we have August. Who else? We looked at Samari, then who's the other one? Who's the other unplayable character? Henrik. There's no shot Henrik says a single word that's interesting. But still, we'll look at it. Okay. Golly, goodness gracious. Hey, okay. Well, thank you guys very much for coming in today. I really appreciate you guys hanging out for a few hours while we let's get some better music going. Some evil music. No, something creepy. Let's put Cigarette Wife on. That's not creepy, but it's cool. Yeah, thank you guys very much for hanging out. I've been drinking. I've drunk like 2 liters of water this entire stream. Yeah, thank you guys coming in, hanging out. We'll probably do the same again tomorrow. I don't know if I'll schedule these work streams in advance because it really depends on what I'm doing. Like, I don't think I want to edit a video on stream. That's a bit awkward. And I don't want to record the dialogue on stream either because I think that's kind of spoilers, but yeah, doing this research and recording footage I think is fine. And I think we'll end up doing that tomorrow. So yeah, it just depends on where I am in the course of making a video, you know? Although what I do want to start doing is I want to start piggybacking videos where while I'm working on one, I'm working on like multiple at the same time, right? So I could start doing, you know, when I'm up to the stage where I can't do it on stream, I just switch to the next video, you know, and do research and writing and stuff on stream. That might be fun. We'll think about it. I would just say we'll probably not do as many of these work streams as the others, but I'll still do the scheduled streams every week. So at the end of this week, we've got we are watching Clay County Catalog, an analog horror series that I was asked to watch. Stretch. And then we've also got the next day, we've got video games. We're going to be playing some video games on stream. Oh, jeez, I am tired. Right, so thank you guys very much for coming in. Really appreciate it, and I will see you soon. Maybe tomorrow. Bye, guys. Oh, wait, I've got my sign-off. I always forget my sign-off. You've been watching Mythonics, hosted by More They Doog. And remember... It's fucking music. You've been watching Mythonics Live, hosted by More They Do.